how's your experience been with the program so far?
Um, the experience has been great.
Mhm.
I love the program. I'm learning a ton of stuff. A lot of things that I didn't even realize were kind of in this realm of what we would do. Um, it's it's rough. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot of information to try to cram into the short amount of time.
Yeah.
But they do a really, really good job of adapting to the students, because I don't know if you remember kind of early in the course, um, there would be kind of a few hiccups, and then the next week they would be like, "Hey, we
Yeah.
changed this because we were
Yeah.
having issues with that, and let us know how we're doing." Um, so I really love that about the course. The case study is really good for me because I am a very practical, hands-on kind of person, and that is so that we can really get down to, this is what you would be doing on the job. These are actual things that you would have to do. um, you're going to have to clean this data, and you're going to have to run these tests, and you're going to have to do this exploratory data analysis on it, and this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
And I like that it's straight and to the point. The flip side to that, our group kind of went through a lot of growing pains, I guess you could say.
Okay.
um, I think we started out with 7 members.
Mhm.
Um, we got down to 3.
Wow.
And it was getting to the point where we were having our meetings with our TA, like, what are we supposed to do?
Wow. Yeah.
Um, I think we can handle this without everybody else, but, is this normal? Is this something we're going to have to do? So we decided to not disband, because that was one of the options they gave us: disband and allow us to go into other teams.
Mm.
um, we kind of felt like we didn't want to do that. We
Okay.
liked where we were at
Okay.
with our data. So we ended up with a new team member coming in to help us.
Oh, nice.
That other team member on their team was kind of feeling like they were carrying the load. They weren't getting any feedback from the team. Nobody was helping out, which is the problems we were having in the beginning as well. And that's
Okay.
why we were seeing team members drop off, because they couldn't handle the workload, or they had other commitments that
Okay.
ended up interfering with the course. So we're kind of building back up now, and the group portion of it is, for me, is typical. Um, you're always going to have those group members that are kind of just going to want to slide by and not really produce or put in the work, or those team members that, the due date is tomorrow at noon, so at 11 a.m. they are trying to cram in all their work, you know whereas we're trying to get this done and get it polished and get it back out. So it's one of those things. It's got its ups and downs, but overall I love this course.
Yeah. But do you see any, maybe similarities is not the right word, but ways that the type of work you did in the Air Force kind of mimics the type of group work or group dynamics that you have now within the program?
No,
Mhm.
no. Um, we might have seen a lot of people trying to just slide by, but there was a lot of accountability in the Air Force.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
um, if somebody wasn't pulling their weight, everybody let them know, or somebody would definitely let them know, and it would be dealt with. Uh, where that situation is a little different, because we're in the Air Force, we're in the military. We don't really get that option to be able to just not do our work.
Right. Right.
So you don't see that. And in this situation where the course is, I don't want to say free, but
Mhm.
the tuition is paid for.
Yeah.
So you kind of get some people that don't really take it as serious as they should be,
Mhm.
um, because they didn't have to pay for it.
Right. Right. Yeah. Okay. So what advice would you give other fellows coming after you? And I guess not just for our program, but for other students or people who feel like, oh, maybe I'm too old to pivot into this tech space. What advice would you give them so that they stay motivated and keep going to get to the end of that journey?
I would like to say that you're never too old. Um,
Yes.
I think what really helped me was that I ran out of excuses. I always had an excuse why I couldn't go back to school. Oh, I'm too busy at work. Oh, I don't have time. And at one point, I ran out of excuses,
Mm,
and I was faced with that choice of, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to continue to just break your back, working all day long, 12 hours a day, or are you going to do something about it? And
mhm.
that was really for me, that's what it was. It
Wow.
was stop complaining and do something about it.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of where you kind of got to think of things. It's never too late. You're never too old. It doesn't matter. I, you've you've got to kind of get in that mindset of lifelong learning. If if you don't think that you can handle taking the big pivot to going through a course like this, start small. um, Start with trying to learn something new every single day, and it does not matter what it is. It doesn't have to be about data science. It could be about anything that interests you. Learn something new every day and just
Mhm.
get into that habit, because then you'll start learning, or you'll start realizing that, oh yeah, I'm picking up on this and I'm learning this and I'm enjoying to learn this.
Yeah.
um, and then follow your interest. Don't be afraid to go down that rabbit hole. So for me, it was TikTok. I would see something on TikTok, and in a 1 minute video, you're not going to get the whole answer, but it was enough to say, oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. And then I'll Google it and I'll start reading on it. Oh, that's a little bit more, and I'll dive down that rabbit hole. And for me, that's just it's where it's at. Don't be afraid to go down that rabbit hole, because you're going to learn something, and it's never a bad thing to learn something new. It's
Right.
only going to benefit you.
Right. I love it.
So
I love it.
so for me, the biggest advice would be is, don't be afraid of the rabbit hole. Chase the rabbit.
Oh, I love it. Chase the rabbit. I love it. Thank you for that. Thank you. So what would you say your ideal job would be? Where do you
Hmm.
want to end up? Or maybe you want to work for yourself
You know,
because you
these
can
last few
freelance.
years,
Yeah.
yeah, that is true, and I have been looking into doing some freelance as well. It's kind of hard to say. I've kind of been out of the actual job market now for the past 4 years since I've been in school. Um, and there was a lot of things with like the corporate world and going to that 9 to 5 job every day that was just kind of like, I don't know if I really want to do this.
Right.
Um, so ideally for me, it would be remote work. I don't care to fight traffic and go into an office anymore. I would
Yes.
really love to be able to just work from my laptop, which is great about data science because a lot of the jobs are remote. Um, so any job that will get me remote so that I can become a nomad. There's just so much of this country and this world that I want to see before I get to the point when I can't. That I want a job that can take me there. You know, I don't just want to have to go in and look at the same four walls every day.
Yeah. I think you're on the right path too. Data science will be your
Yeah.
key. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This has been a great interview. You've done awesome. And I just want to ask, do you have any social handles that you would like to share in case anyone wants to get in touch with you? Or if you want to share your email, it's totally fine. It's up to you.
Um, sure. I don't really have any socials that I'm really heavy into. I am out on LinkedIn,
Okay.
um, and I don't actually know my address to give you. Um,
It's
so I
okay.
don't
We
know
can
how
add
well that
it.
would work.
We can add it later.
You can add it later.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I can definitely
definitely.
send it to you, and we can add it later. But yeah, I would definitely connect on LinkedIn for sure. Um, and then from there, if it's something a little more social and non-professional related, we can branch from there. But I don't really do Instagram. I don't do Facebook. Um, I have a TikTok, but I don't post anything. I only watch videos.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Well, it's been a pleasure getting to know you and hearing your story. And I'm sure so many people can relate to everything that you've told us. And I am really happy that a lot of the people that I'm interviewing are like me, who are older students, and they're still in there learning every day and trying their hardest to pivot and change the trajectory of their life for something better. So it's been great to talk to you. Any final words before we go?
don't be afraid to chase the rabbit.
Yes. Thank you. Thank
That'll
you so
work.
much. Thank you so much,
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Dick Johnson. Thank you. We'll see everyone next time. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.